where you belong. Give you strength to carry on. Open your heart, set your mind at ease. Live your life and you'll be free. We're gonna rise, rise, rise. Keep on rising, rise, rise, rise. Keep on rising,
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Toon Review for tonight's Borussia Dortmund 2, Manchester City 0. Manchester City 0? What am I talking about? Newcastle United 0. Let's start again, shall we? Welcome, everybody, to the Borussia Dortmund 2, Newcastle United 0 match review with me, Stato, and Billy. A lot to get into tonight, folks, because, it seems like the old cartel are trying to scupper Newcastle's plans to loan anybody from Saudi Arabia come the winter transfer window. We've got some images that I'd like to show tonight just to show that Newcastle United aren't bad losers like the Arsenal are. And, of course, we preview the game at Bournemouth on Saturday. And when I show you the injury list and who's not available for the game, it does make grim reading, I have to say. But tonight, guys, if you do enjoy tonight's show, as usual, give us the thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel and you like what you see, we started the show 45 subscribers away from 25,000. So we are going to get there very soon. And with your help, we'll get there sooner rather than later, of course. So please do subscribe if you're new and hit that notification bell, which will let you know when we schedule our live shows or we upload any videos during the day, which we have done every day this week. You can become a member of the Toon Review as well if you hit the join button just underneath the three of us. And of course, you can donate to the channel if you do so wish by hitting the $sign, which is just underneath the live comments. We've got a comment from Sean Stevenson, who's been a member for 10 months. Says it's an honor to be part of the Toon Review family. Great work by everyone. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Right, fellas, we may as well get stuck into this Premier League vote that's going to come round on the 21st of this month. This has just come out of nowhere, of course. It seems like the cartel, in my opinion, have got wind of Newcastle United being interested in Neves, etc., and they've want to put a scupper to it that no loans can be done with any sort of affiliate clubs, etc., which obviously PIF own the top 4 or 5 in Saudi, and it means we're screwed. So, Alex, what's your immediate thoughts on it?
Oh dear. I mean, immediate thoughts. Oh dear. I mean, yeah. I mean, we saw it coming a mile off, to be completely honest. It's just frustrating how it is very hypocritical now, because most of the bigger clubs have spent the entire summer transfer window wheeling off bloody people that they didn't want anymore and shipping them out. Yeah. And then doing this to us as we're injury blighted for the January transfer window. They've done it specifically for us, only for us, which I think just shows how much everyone's rattled, because they've seen that we're about 3 years ahead of schedule. This was probably a 5-year plan, and we look where we are in 2. So they're trying to put a spanner in the works as much as possible, because we could fix the whole season by just getting 2 or 3 really decent loans in. Well, we can't have that many, but you know what I mean. There are lots we could do to fix the season, and they're going to try and stop it as much as possible.
Southern Geordie makes a good point, Billy. It's absolutely pathetic. Temporary decision until they think it through properly. It's a joke and a disgrace.
Well, it's right. It is a disgrace. And I'm pretty sure had we not had this injury kind of problem and suspension problem, that it wouldn't be happening now. It can only be at us because we're the only ones that have owners that have their fingers into the pies, let's say. So it can only be a dig at us, and it can only come from potential competitors to us, i.e. the former Big Six.
Yeah.
So yes, it's wrong to change the rules mid-season. I think once the season starts, you go through that season with the same rules as what you started with.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, you're changing the playing field to benefit people.
Yeah.
So I think there's a legal issue here. I don't think they can do that. I don't think they can change it halfway through. I think if they want to do that, they have to wait to the end of the season. So I'm sure there'll be a legal issue somewhere along the line.
Tom says changing the rules mid-season whilst other clubs are benefiting from this. Newcastle will have the lawyers onto them, and they'll have listen. I agree 100%, Billy. You know, this is the rules of the game are there and stipulated at the start of every single season, right? So it's really pissing me off that they keep doing this and changing the rules mid-season or whatever it is just to suit them, the cartel. And that's what it is. Let's be honest here. It's not the Premier League. The cartel have kicked off. We know they have. It's happened before, and it's exactly what they're doing again. You know, it's trying to protect themselves because Alex is right. They're shitting themselves over where Newcastle United are coming from and are going to. And that there's no doubt in my eyes it's all about that.
The problem with that is when they come to the vote and you have to have 14 clubs to get it through. You get these smaller clubs that will could look to the big club to try and get favours out of them, perhaps, you know, like favourable loan deals with them clubs. So, you know, it's very dodgy, very cloak and dagger, and it's very sneaky, if you ask me.
Yeah. A lot of people saying if it was Chelsea going in for Neves or rumoured to go for Neves, this rule would never have come in. It's so annoying. It pisses me off. It really does. I mean, it's not Newcastle United's fault. This is just the fault of the cartel, who once again want to try and run English football the way they want to see it run. They don't want to see anybody coming up through the ranks and challenging these teams. Because I'm pretty sure if it was Aston Villa in our position or Brighton in our position, they'd do exactly the same thing because they are scared of what's coming from, you know, lower down in the league. They don't want anybody touching them. And that's what is happening with this.
Quick query. Obviously, the PIF are involved with 4 clubs in Saudi. Could we not loan from someone who's not in that 4-club bracket?
Well,
I feel like we need Tifo, or the Swiss Ramble's really good with that, but he does more financial things. We need somebody, because it's beyond my knowledge, but we could do with somebody to break this all down. And then we can use it on the show. But I'm not clever enough to do it. But there's definitely some interesting loopholes and things to be talked about. Maybe we could loan from somebody outside that 4 that the PIF have invested in specifically. There'll be ways. There'll definitely be ways. It'll be interesting.
Yeah. Baz Down Under says take out an injunction and delay it till the end of the season. I'm sure they'll be looking at it. Because, listen, Amanda's not stupid, remember, because if you remember the documentary, she had certain things to say in that documentary about the way Newcastle United are dealt with and the rules that seem to come into play when Newcastle want to do something. So she's not stupid. She's onto them. And I'm sure that there'll be stuff going on in the background already at Newcastle United, to discuss this, certainly with legal teams and things like that. Because like Billy says, I fully 100% agree with that, Billy, about the rule changing halfway through a season or into the season. Once that season starts, you shouldn't be able to change rules just to suit other clubs, which is what they're doing.
I mean, it's not just the Big Six either, because you can guarantee Aston Villa, Brighton, teams, West Ham, teams that could compete around the top 6 that want a European spot, they'll be voting against it also.
Well, I mean, Foxy's just listed a few, and he's completely right. Like Forest with Olympiacos as well. They're Brighton with USG. There are a few outside the top 6 that this vote might not go through, because a lot of clubs, it might affect them more than people seem to realise. It's not just against us.
I'm not sure. I think it will.
Yeah, but with it being temporary, Alex, that's the problem I've got. It's temporary. And how many of those clubs are actually going to deal with their affiliate clubs in the winter transfer window? They know the situation Newcastle United are in. Let's be honest, they know exactly the situation we're in. We need to get players in, and players from Saudi, such as Neves, have already mentioned their desire to join Newcastle United. Neves has come out and said in an interview he'd be honoured to play for Newcastle United. And, that now might be scuppered by a stupid ruling that is coming in to once again deny us. JT Dunk says the skullduggery against the Toon is getting beyond a joke now. They're trying anything to keep us down. Absolutely pathetic attempt from inside the cartel. It shows how fucking terrified they are of us. Ian A says a change of rules should need a unanimous vote. Well, it doesn't work like that in Parliament either, though, does it? It's not unanimous vote in Parliament, is it? So, I see where you're coming from, though.
It's still an arbitrary line they've drawn in the sand. Like Billy just mentioned, 2/3. Why 2/3? Why not above 50%? Why not unanimous? Again, they're just arbitrary lines in the sand for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And it's just nonsense. They just make stuff up as they go along.
Yep. Wacky Angler says a Toon Review themed 3 Wise Men t-shirt for Christmas would be good with the cow instead of the donkey.
That's a good idea.
Susan! There you go. That was a loud call. Oh yeah, United are after some dude from Nice, but because of Ratcliffe, they won't be able to get him. Yeah, listen, I don't care what anybody says. If Man United wanted to go for a player, despite the rules, they'd find a loophole.
Yeah, they'll just sell it to it. They'll just sell it. It's different with European clubs because the Saudi clubs, of course, are paying loads more money, basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
So players aren't just want to going to leave, full stop. But loan, when they're out of season, suits them fine. With Nice, it's different. They've got the same season. Obviously, they ain't getting paid the same money. It's different. It's different.
But remember as well, this is just loans. So, somebody could just go in and buy Neves. We could buy Neves, but I don't think Newcastle United want to do that. They want to get a couple of loans in because of, FFP and all that other stuff. And, if they went and bought a player like Neves, then come the end of the season, we get Tonali back and, we're overflowing in that certain position where players aren't going to get games. Area. So that you can see why they're wanting to get loan deals in. Now, I'm not saying that
you're like Manchester City, then you're stacked in the right areas.
Yeah. Julie J says, especially as Chelsea and Man United further down the league, they're cacking it. Spurs last season finishing outside the top 6. Barbara wants to know how come Tonali is not banned from playing on FIFA 24.
Oh dear.
Was Tony banned on there? I don't know.
I've not seen Tony this year's. Tonali's definitely still available.
Yeah.
I've not seen Tony yet. That's a good point, that is.
Interesting. Reese says just terminate their contracts and we can sign them as free agents. Loophole.
They're not going to want to do that, though, are they? Because they're getting paid silly money, aren't they? And we can't afford to pay that.
Absolutely. I mean, Neves is on fantastic wages and something that we can't even touch. So if there was a loan deal in place, then obviously I would think it would mean, the Saudi teams would still pay a percentage of their wages. But Wacky Angler says, didn't City get Lampard on loan from their American side? Indeed, they did.
A while ago now, though, but yeah, it did happen.
Yeah, it did happen. Watford still do it with Udinese, and Bournemouth are starting to do it with Lorient. Yes, they are. But Watford, of course, are in the Championship, so it wouldn't matter to them. But Bournemouth, I mean, I don't think that this is the problem, though, guys. Is I don't think these teams are wanting to do deals in the winter with these affiliate clubs, which means that that's why it's temporary until they get sort of a commenter said that they're getting. They get a more structured thing in place, which the more structured thing that comes in will be to deny Newcastle United.
I mean, it's just to delay us. It's not going to do anything more than delay us.
Yeah.
We're coming anyway. We're coming for all of you. We all know that. The owners want to win everything. They've made that very clear. They're richer than everyone else. They're determined. We've had a lot of Saudi people sort of in the channel over the last couple of years who've stated, Saudi don't do second place. If they were going to start competing in something, you're going to compete in something to win it, 100%.
Yeah.
They're building up to this whole World Cup thing. They've got this 2030 project. It's all geared towards that. Yeah. And we are one of the cogs in that, as it were, and they will push to make us the best club in the world. So they can do this if they want. And yeah, it might regress us or not regress us, but it will limit our progression and how fast it is, but it's still going to happen anyway. Like they can do what they want.
Yeah, they can. People are saying, about recalling Minte back in January. Listen, I know that they probably wouldn't want to do that, Alex, as we've said many times. However, if the injury crisis is still as bad in January, they may look at doing that. But Minte is out with a bad injury as well. So,
it's not going to happen. Qual and Minte, they're not going to get recalled. Absolutely not.
No, Kowal's not. Kowal's definitely not.
They're not. Miley gets game time because of how mature he is for his age, how talented he is, and he's been training with the core of the group. Minte's never really trained with us, albeit probably a small amount. And if you've watched any Feyenoord games, he is a loose cannon. He just does stuff. He's like when you drop a firecracker on the floor.
Yeah.
He's just crazy. It's amazing, crazy talent, but that is not appropriate for an Eddie Howe team right now. Look at we got rid of Maxi. I mean, Maxi was not a firecracker, but they want somebody measured who's going to do everything necessary and all of the tracking and all of this kind of stuff. Minte's not there right now. Absolutely no way. Like Minte and Qual both need a full season in a foreign league. Just go play some football, go and learn your trade. With Miley, it's a bit different, purely because of the being from the area, being in the academy setup, training with the first team, understanding the system a bit more. Whereas Qual and Minte have come from outside. It is a completely different situation.
Yep. Tom says, whoa, hold on. Someone on an NUFC channel has referred to Man United as United. Who's done that? Give your head a wub. I don't think I'd need more than one guess, to be honest, who that is. To be honest, I wouldn't. This is interesting from Luke. I'd love us to bring in Neves for a £1 transfer fee, then see what the fuckers have to say about it. That would be funny. That would actually be funny because there's nothing they can do. There's a transfer fee involved.
Yeah, what a £1 transfer fee and then a £59 million gift to the club.
Yeah. Yeah. Tangy says there's been a few links this week linking Bruno Fernandes to the Saudi League. This is okay, though. Apparently, Ronaldo wants him to join up with him. Portuguese connection. Well, there was loads of rumours at Old Trafford saying that those two didn't get on. But hey ho. Right. We shall move on from that. Obviously, really pain in the arse, but it's the way it is. Guys, please do hit the like button. We're looking for 600 likes again tonight. Let's see if we can get there. So just take a second out and hit that button for us and see how far we can get. Right. I just want to bring up this, which I found quite hilarious, actually. Yeah, this was last night. And this is the ball that was given as a throw-in to Dortmund, which led to the goal. Now, the reason I'm showing it is because Newcastle United as a club, nor us as a fan base, have kicked off kicking and crying and screaming that we were denied a corner because that's what would have happened had that been allowed to stay and play. Dortmund's first goal wouldn't have happened. But the reason I'm showing it is, do you see Newcastle United coming out with a club statement? Do you see Eddie Howe kicking off and crying to the media? Do you see the fans going mental? No, none of it. And that is how to gracefully accept a decision that was wrong and move on. So, I'm right, lads. Come on.
Yeah, you are 100%. We had many opportunities to deal with that and prevent the goal. It's in our hands. It's our fault. It's fine. Mistakes happen, as I'm literally quoting Arteta there.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it was
a disgrace.
It was a poor decision. We lost out because of it, because Dortmund went and scored from the throw-in, thanks to some terrible defending, of course, which we'll come on to. But, that's my point. How much more dignified Eddie Howe is. I don't think he even mentioned it in his press conference, to be honest. It's never been mentioned by the club either. We're not coming out and going, oh, UEFA are corrupt. This is happening. It was a decision that went against us. We were unfortunate. We should have had a corner. We didn't. But are we crying like babies today?
It was throwing, wasn't it?
No, it went for a corner.
No, it went for throwing. It went for throwing, didn't it? It went for throwing. Yeah. Went for throw-in. We knew that we could see it was still in. They give a throw-in.
Yeah, we would have had a corner, Billy, because it went out. We would have had a corner,
and won a corner, but they brought it back.
They brought it back for the throw-in, saying it went out.
For Dortmund.
So that's
Yeah,
where
yeah.
that's where they got the throw from. So that's how to be a dignified football club, Arsenal. Just putting it out there. Right, the game itself. I thought, Billy, we started okay. We looked all right. We were knocking the ball around, and we were in the game. It wasn't like Dortmund were overrunning us.
Definitely not. No, we were in the game. Virtually all of the game, to be honest. For the 90 minutes, really. We never looked outclassed or, shouldn't have been on the same pitch as Dortmund. Not absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
We were comfortable. We were creating a few problems. They were creating us some problems, but we were dealing with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just unfortunate that we couldn't go there with a full squad. Really, that's all.
Yeah.
That's all I can take from it. And if we could have done it, it could have been a different matter. But I mean, for what? I don't think Nick Pope had a shot save until like 15, 20 minutes in. It was comfortable, defended pretty well. Yeah, it weren't giving the ball away very much. Certain players accepted.
I mean, some of the passing was a bit dodgy, wasn't it? But what I really liked about that first half, Alex, is when we went to goal down, the heads didn't drop, did it? In fact, I think we were the better team after Dortmund scored.
Yeah, it's just our mentality. They're all winners. They want to win every single game. They knew that they needed to score as soon as possible so they could try and get another one for the winner. It's a winning mentality, regardless of who's on the pitch and who's not.
Yeah.
And we matched them. We are arguably, I would say we're around about at the same level as Dortmund, and they were full strength. That was a full strength Dortmund. We're missing, Botman, Tonali, Isak, Barnes, Byrne. We're missing all of those players, and we were still pretty much matching Dortmund, and we matched them over in 2 games. I know we lost 2-0, which the score suggests otherwise. However, we got caught out for the second one just because we were pushing so hard. But I thought there wasn't a lot between us in both of those games over 180 minutes, and we are absolutely injury ravaged. So that is extremely flattering for us. I thought we gave a great account of ourselves, and we can all be very proud.
Yeah. I mean, some of the stuff, I did a video on it earlier on, and, the second part of the video was about certain Newcastle fans and the way not just react to last night's defeat, but the reaction to defeats in general. We can analyze a game and we can do these match reviews and, we can say that certain players didn't play very well, but it's just one game. What I've read about, people hammering Trippier, very easily forget what this man brings to the football club, what this man has done since he's been here, with new signings. And it's not just on the field. Trippier is a massive influence off it as well. And, I bet you your bottom dollar that, the way Livermento's playing is a lot of thanks to Trippier as well, because Livermento said he was going to work with Trippier, learn from Trippier, and get better under the guidance of Trippier. And that's exactly what's happened. We've got a $4.99 from Len Simmons. Len, thank you very much for your super chat. He says, when are the clubs going to have points deducted that have broken financial fair play? Well, the answer to that is God knows. No idea. But, we'll obviously keep an eye on that.
Just answer a comment very quickly.
Yes.
Nathan's made a very good comment there. About doing a piece on other teams. I won't do too many things on other teams, but we are looking into me and possibly Billy doing some interesting stuff, but possibly in the new year when we've got a little bit more time. We're very busy with work at the moment, but maybe some interesting pre-records and some more interesting shows, but we need more time because at the moment it's a match every 3 days. So when we get some more time, we'll look into that 100%.
Yeah. Now, obviously, Billy, Trippier last night wasn't at his best. There's no rhyme or reason. I mean, he did some good things, some lovely little passes, but on the whole, he wasn't at the races last night. Now, I think fatigue plays a big part in this. I really do. I know Trippier's super fit, but he is 33. The games are coming thick and fast. But I liked what Eddie said after the game last night, that he didn't think, he thought that the game just came too quickly after the Arsenal game. Because the Arsenal one was a high-intensity game. It was very physical. And then Tuesday night, we're in Germany in a Champions League game.
Yeah, and it's that other thing, isn't it? It's the mental fatigue. We were really up for the Arsenal game. You can see that in the way we competed. And once you've got to that plateau and you win the game, there's an inevitable down for that. And it just maybe with Trippier, it was case of physical and mental fatigue because everything goes through him, doesn't it? Whether he's playing well or not, it still goes through him. The ball is with him more than anybody else on the pitch for us. I think we can rest him now. I really do. We've got a really able kind of substitute in Livramento to replace him. So I think Eddie Howe can rest him more and play him sparingly, really. Whenever he's fully fit and fully mentally fit, he can bring in Tino now. However, with the injuries, it looks like they're both going to be playing for a while. So,
yeah, I mean, look, it's a good point. I mean, I'd rather Trippier's not called up for England duty this time around. That's just from a Newcastle United fan's point of view. I think he could do with a couple of weeks rest and then have him flying towards, obviously, which is going to be another busy Christmas period. So I'd rather that he wasn't called up. There is rumours going around that Anthony Gordon's getting a call up tomorrow, which should be interesting. But I don't know, guys. I mean, Trippier, if he's named in the England squad, would Eddie Howe leave him out on Saturday?
I mean, if.
Well, I'm hoping he's not. I'm just hoping that
Eddie's
Eddie's
going to be named in the England squad.
Well, I know.
It's harder to get out of the England squad than it is to get into it. So there's absolutely no chance he gets dropped from it.
He could not play for the next 12 months and get, Tino could play every right back game for the rest of the year and Trippier would still get called up for England because it's just what Southgate does, isn't it?
Unfortunately, yes.
But
you know what I mean?
mention something about Trippier when you're talking about him?
Absolutely.
It's something that we pointed out recently, and I feel like it's worth having a bigger conversation about. Teams have been always targeting Dan Burn's side and the space in behind Dan Burn. However, Dan Burn, quite a lot this season, has stepped up his level and been quite careful with that, and we've been okay. And then teams in the last, I would say, 4 or 5 weeks have shifted and they've gone, sod it, we'll just press Trippier. Everybody's shifted over to rush Trippier way more frequently. And it's really affecting our build-up in certain games. I feel like the focus has shifted from Burn being a press trigger to it being Trippier. They've just gone, sod it, we'll just press him. And I don't know if anybody else has noticed that, but I feel like it's been a big shift. A few teams did it, and now a lot of them are just doing it.
Well, Dortmund did it twice, haven't they? Dortmund definitely did twice, no doubt about it.
And the reason why it's gone kind of unnoticed to a point is, I think, an accident. It's because Cher got moved over to the left side. We've got interesting passing angles across the back line, and I think it's kind of made it less obvious, but it's still a thing. I don't know if anybody else, tell me if I'm wrong, people, but I feel like that's definitely something that's changed in how opponents are lining up against us and how they're playing against us, for sure.
I think when you play in the Champions League games, they don't have just one trigger point. They're pressing both sides, to be honest.
Listen, let's not forget. I mean, I know Dortmund got whooped at the weekend, but Dortmund have some very, very good players and are an established Champions League club. And we have to go and play them with, 8 or 9 players missing, absolute complete fatigue after a very difficult game against that. I just think, people have been a little bit harsh on us. But, I mean, Spike sent a super chat in here of £10, and he says, I agree with you, Paul and Billy. I agree with you, Paul. And as Billy said, they are worn out with the number of injuries, has a big effect on the team as a whole. Billy, I'll put it to you now. Would it be beneficial for Newcastle United to go out of Europe altogether?
Yes, I think so. However, come the new year, you've got another transfer window to go with. And, it's time to strengthen the squad, perhaps. So it's between now and January that's the problem, I think. So I'll say yes. I think so. I wouldn't mind a Europa League spot. I really wouldn't.
Yeah, but again, when you've just kind of, I feel like you've backtracked there because
I did. Yeah, I thought about it properly.
If you think about it properly, we get all those players back and the transfer window when we start playing all the knockout games.
January's the point. Yeah, January's.
So we've just got to grind
now and then, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Arguably, we'll have Barnes, Isak, and Botman back, possibly Burn as well, depending on how he is, and possibly Elliot Anderson. So we'd have all of those back.
Plus
probably not
off the transfer list. I mean, there's a chance of it.
Yeah, and so then the knockouts would start after Christmas and stuff, and then we'd be all right.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because people are already saying, "Oh, that you're out the Champions League." Well, we're not. We're still very much in the Champions League. I think Milan's win last night has opened the group up as far as I'm concerned. It's still very much all to play for. And I think that's probably what Eddie's going to be thinking is, if we don't make the top two, then the Europa League is still a position where we can still experience European football. There's some very good teams going to be in that Europa League. For me, hopefully it carries on. If it doesn't, well, we just get on with it, don't we? So,
can I just give a point of reference? I mean, West Ham's a great point. I've seen a few people put West Ham in the chat. I've not read the comments, but so last season, right, they won a cup. It was the Conference League, so it was not easiest. What's the right adjective to not upset our friendly hammers? It wasn't the strongest of the three European competitions.
It was the equivalent of the Conference Cup, wasn't it?
It's ranked one.
However, they finished in 14th place on 40 points. I don't think West Ham are as good as we are in terms of the squad, the talent. However, that is how much of an effect that had on their season. Is they finished on 40 points. We need to factor in, and there's so many of our fans expecting top four. Otherwise, we failed. It doesn't work like that. Look at West Ham's drop off. It's so hard.
I mean, the fans that got at Newcastle United last night was just it was the usual thing. It was for me, they're all plastics as far as I'm concerned with the bull rot they were coming out with.
Well, that's why my prediction was 8th for this season.
Look at this, right? This is the squad update as of today, right? Tonali suspended, Jacob Murphy shoulder, Dan Burn lower back, Harvey Barnes ankle, Elliot Anderson lower back, Sven Botman knee. Bruno obviously suspended now. Alex Isak groin. Callum Wilson has now a very tight hamstring. Javi Manquillo groin injury. Matt Targett thigh injury, just had an operation today. So we don't know when Targett will be back.
I mean, that's Manquillo, 11. That's basically a full
it's a
team.
full 11. Yeah, without a goalkeeper, obviously. But you look, what worries me is the potential returns. Look at Murphy, he's January. Burns, January. Harvey Barnes, January. Elliot Anderson, after Christmas. Sven Botman, 10th of December. These guys are away for quite a distance from being fit.
Yeah, it's concerning. It's very concerning. And that's not to say we're not going to get any more either.
Exactly. It's really, really worrying.
I mean, I've seen it said on a few kind of media people have said that's the price of playing Eddie Howe football. 90%, 90 minutes of 100% football.
I mean, that's true to a level, but then
they said that about Klopp a few years ago, didn't they?
That was true though, because that was all hamstrings. That was thighs, hamstrings, calves. If you actually, could you put the injury list back up? Let's break it down. Hang on a minute. This needs to be right. So Tonali suspension, not in our hands. Murphy shoulder, that's not due to intensity and running. Dan Burn landed on his back. Harvey Barnes, freak injury where his foot bone just went pop for no reason. Elliot Anderson back again, which is not down to just running. Sven Botman, okay, fine. You could argue is down to the system. So we've got 1 for Eddie Howe, 5 just freak annoying.
It was an impact injury.
It was an impact injury during the match, though. So it was.
Oh, there you go. Okay, well, we'll put it back on the other list then. That's sick.
The only one there, really, you say that about is Callum Wilson. We know that when he plays more often, he has to play because of the injuries.
But that's not because Eddie Howe's doing anything wrong. That's because Isak got injured because of what happened at Sweden, which is not in his control.
Yeah.
And then Targett just went ping at the beginning of a game, which, I mean, who do we call into question there? The warm up, maybe. I feel like that's harsh. It just, if you actually look at it, it's not because we're overplaying and everybody's hamstrings gone ping. It's just one of those things.
Matt Targett actually said today, didn't he, that he felt great going into the Manchester United game. He had a good warm-up. So it was a freak injury. And that's what they've been, freak injuries. And, whichever way you spin it. I mean, look, I watched Goldbridge today, and he did a video on the amount of games that footballers are playing, and he mentioned the injuries that a lot of the top clubs are having, and he mentioned Newcastle as well, and how it's impacted us. Certainly in Europe last night, a full strength Newcastle squad, he even said would probably have beaten Dortmund, but the fact that we just haven't got a big enough squad And are there too many games in football now? You know, where it's effectively, we know these players are super fit,
At the top level, yes.
but the
if you're
intensity,
successful,
the
yeah.
intensity, the
Look at the
intensity
Pedri
that the games
drop-off.
are played at.
The Pedri drop-off is a prime example. Barcelona, he played like 78 fixtures in a calendar year, and then his form just went off a cliff.
Yep.
Because he was knackered. Like, you can't play to that level all the time. It's not possible.
It's
just
if
not.
you're successful, the chances are you're going to be playing it each summer with international tournaments as well. So
Yeah.
there's never time to rest.
And then you look at Callum Wilson last night going off at half time. We thought that was tactical at the time, me and Billy, when he came off. And of course, it's been confirmed that he has a tight hamstring. They're clearly worried about his hamstring because as soon as Callum Wilson gets a tight hamstring, it's like, oh, holy shit, you know, he could be out for God knows how long. So, you know, I think we were unlucky last night. I generally do, because I don't think the second goal happens if we're not pushing for an equaliser. It was a terrible free kick by Trippier, obviously. Easily cleared and obviously left us with a 2-on-1, and there's nothing we can do about that, you know. And we were always playing catch up after that, but we didn't give up. Joe Linton's header goes in, it makes it 1-1. Then, you know, we're not pushing for that equaliser. So and everybody will be saying, oh, it's a great point in Dortmund. You know, we've come away with a point. So it's very fine margins, Billy.
It is, yeah. I think we probably deserved a point last night, and I think we deserved a point in the home leg as well. But a couple of widths of a bar widths, you know, hitting the bar twice. That header last night, and we come away with 2 defeats. It's football, isn't it? That's how football operates.
Irish Toon just made a good point about the fifth place, about the 2 best leagues getting Champions League places for fifth place. Well, an additional place, but it would be fifth for us. So in theory, we just need to get out of the group and do as well as we can, because us getting out of the group and doing well in knockouts could get us Champions League again if we end up finishing fifth. So it could be really important. So we want everybody to win. As much as we dislike Arsenal and Manchester United at the moment, we could do with everybody, you know, doing well to drag up our coefficient and just to make sure we can potentially get that fifth place Champions League spot. So, yeah. So hopefully Copenhagen don't win tonight. Oh, that hurts so much.
Listen, Man United are in deep
I don't
trouble.
care. I'd rather Copenhagen win, to be honest.
Yeah.
Same the way their fans
should have won the first one.
Liverpool reacted. The Liverpool fans have reacted to our defeat last night, and definitely Arsenal fans. I don't give a shit. They'll get beat.
Wow, they're very rattled, aren't they?
You see that guy who posted on, you know, for a picture of him inside Dortmund Stadium, claiming he was there last night.
Oh, yeah.
Yet it was bright blue sky and a yellow flag in the middle of the ground, not the Champions League one. So he wasn't actually there. What an absolute
it was a lie.
Idiot. So yeah, I just and he also used some very, very poor wording as well. I just think people like that are just an absolute disgrace. They really are, in my opinions. Right, there is a poll up. We have another poll tonight, guys. Who was your man of the match last night? There is 3 to choose from: Livramento, Joe Linton, or Jamal Lascelles. They are the 3 that we were voting for tonight. So get voting, guys, and let us see who you thought was man of the match.
Choose the right one or the 2 wrong ones. Good luck.
We will see. We will see. People have not all chose what you'd expect already. So anyway, before we do the player ratings, guys, I just obviously 2 years to the day since this man took over at the club. You know,
He looks like a baby.
He does. I mean, he's aged a bit.
He's aged a lot in this 2 years.
Yeah, he has. Chris Lynch, thanks for your 20 quid super chat. He says, if we beat Milan at St. James's, we can go through. So we are still in it. Be positive. Please like and subscribe. Thank you very much, Chris. Well said, buddy. We're just going to touch on this for Eddie Howe very quickly, guys. I'm just going to ask you, Alex, you first. What has been your highlight of Eddie Howe's reign so far? What stands out for you the most? What's the one thing that you look back at the last 2 years that Eddie's done that really sticks out?
I'm going to say the coaching, just the coaching of players in general.
Yep.
Because, I mean, if you go up and down the squad, right? Okay, so we got rid of some early doors like Kieran Clark, Jeff Hendrick. I felt like Isaac Hayden was very unlucky with his knee injury. I thought he would have been given a fair crack of the whip had he not got that injury. I think he would have been an interesting prospect in this system. Never mind, never happened. But however, everybody that remained in that squad, everybody's improved and everybody's even being useful this season. With the exception of maybe Manquillo. Obviously, we let Jamal Lewis go out on loan. But just the coaching is outrageous. And every player wants to win every match and they want to be the best. These are players that were happy. They were just not happy, but they were quite used to just relegation battles. And they knew they weren't top level. They weren't expecting they were ever going to get to play for their country. Maybe they weren't expecting they were ever going to get to play European football. They'd pretty much accepted that was beyond them at that point. And he has changed the belief of all of them. And it's just magnificent. It's incredible. I feel like more needs to be made of it. It really does. It really, really does. It's outrageous. People talk about the money, but then, you've got players on the periphery of being called up for their international sides who never would have had a chance. You've got Joe Linton playing for Brazil now. You've got Gordon and Longstaff. Longstaff would have never got an England call up. I think Longstaff was ready to drop down into League One. Like he was after we got relegated, I thought it was just going to go wrong for him. So Longstaff arguably deserves a call up at the moment. Joe Linton for Brazil. I mean, that's all down to Eddie Howe. It's crazy.
Yep. I Like Coffee, who, by the way, is one of our new moderators. So congratulations, buddy. And he is now a moderator. We are looking at a couple more. Well, Susan's doing all the behind the work, CV work. Close to 25 subscribers on YouTube. Will there be a special celebration? Yes, we will do something for 25. We have to. I mean, 25,000 is a big achievement, So yes, we will.
What kind of football grounds are 25k? Let's have a look.
Why on earth are you doing that?
We could fit everybody who subscribed to the Toon Review in a 25k stadium. You're starting to talk about stadium levels of people now. That's insane.
Well, I know, and it's mental, isn't it?
Can I talk about my Eddie Howe thing?
Yeah, I'm coming on to you next, Billy. Don't worry, I hadn't forgotten you, mate.
No, I thought you had.
Of course not.
I think you died.
I haven't done mine either, so away. Go on then.
Oh, you want to do that? Okay.
Yeah.
Right, for me, before the takeover happened, and I used to think about it regularly, and specifically for home games, but away games too, was the lack of intensity that the players were showing. It was our identity pre-Ashley, pre-Souness, actually, Robson, Keegan, that we used to press teams and just go at it for 90 minutes, go at it, attacking, swarm of black and white shirts, attacking the opponent's goals. That didn't happen for years and years and years, and I used to miss that. And we could have got a manager, even after the takeover, that didn't believe in that kind of play. A negative manager that sat back and defended and kind of counter-attacked and wouldn't have suited the Newcastle's ethos, if you like. Eddie Howe's come in and he's established that again, and it's great to watch week in, week out. And he doesn't just do that at home. We do it away as well, which is phenomenal. So for such a brave tactic of football, in this day and age, one that we used to have a lot. Arthur Cox used to do it too, many, many years ago. It's just bringing it back, our identity back, which is our intensity, really. Yeah.
I agree with both of you, to be honest. I think you've both got very valid reasons, and I agree. And I think another thing to add to that is the turnaround of the individual players, who we all thought were absolute goners at Newcastle United at one stage, didn't we? The likes of Fabian Schär, we didn't expect to come through. Jamal Lascelles, Jacob Murphy, Joe Linton. These were all, people were laughing at Joe Linton, and sadly including us, saying he's pathetic.
Whoa.
Well, apart from you. But he's my favourite player. He's my favourite player now. So and I mentioned that this morning in the video, just, how, Joe Linton's done it himself as well. Let's not take anything away from Joe Linton. He has listened to Eddie Howe. But the minute Eddie Howe walked in the door, if you can remember what he said about Joe Linton, he says he saw something straight away in Joe Linton. Now, whether it was luck or what, that he was moved back to midfield from that Kieran Clark sending off against Norwich. But Billy, you'll remember this. I did say that Joe Linton should be a midfielder a few weeks before he was actually moved back to midfield. So maybe Eddie Howe was listening to me. I don't know, but I highly doubt it. But I do like to take some credit for it, as you know. But I think, the change around in players and giving them the individual belief that some of them are better than what they probably are. You look at Jamal Lascelles, and we all thought, oh God, when Botman got injured, whoa. And look at him now. I mean, he's overachieving, if you like, now. Or he's just got better listening to Eddie Howe. Joe Linton's a monster. Jacob Murphy, who would have thought that he'd still be playing a part in the scene? And then you look at last week against Manchester United. You look at Dummett. You look at Kraft. These players were goners. They were completely out. And then all of a sudden, they come back in, and Dummett and Kraft centre back and get a clean sheet at Old Trafford. Would you have ever thought that would have happened? Because I certainly wouldn't. Not with them two, but absolutely fantastic. And the belief that these players have got, the camaraderie in the dressing room, that's all down to Eddie and the coaching staff. He's got everybody on the right page, singing off the same hymn sheet. I know it's an old cliche, but it is. They are doing exactly that. And Eddie Howe, I hope, is going to be here for years to come. I hope he achieves his dreams in winning trophies at Newcastle United, because I think this guy can be bigger than Keegan and bigger than Robson. If he achieves success and brings in trophies, this man is right up there with the best of them for me. So well done, Eddie, on your first 2 years, and long may this continue, because it's absolutely bloody marvellous. And I love you. Anyway.
By the way,
yes?
a few hundred more, we can fit everyone in Selhurst Park.
It's a long way to go to do a show, though, to be in a Selhurst Park.
And it is funny that Darlington Stadium is bigger than Selhurst Park, and obviously Crystal Palace are in the Premier League.
Yeah, but also we can get the whole Toon Review subscriber base into half of St James's Park. I mean,
literally, yeah, we could fill out half.
Unreal. Anyway, this is happening next Thursday. There won't be a show next Thursday. Me and Alex will be at Anfield Stadium from 6 p.m. Because it is the Football Content Awards next Thursday. 6 p.m. The doors open, and we are in there. Me and Alex are in the VIP section.
They wouldn't let Billy go because of the clock teeth.
Yeah,
and the cocktail attire. I couldn't get a dress to fit me. Not without showing me arse, anyway.
Oh God! Images in my head that shouldn't be there. So yeah, all the votes are in now. We can't do anything. We just have to wait and see. Listen, we're against some.
Yes,
massive...
I am going blonde if we win. I promised.
Yes, yeah. But we're against some massive hitters next week. Some massive hitters, and I think it's if we get anywhere near the top 3, it will be a magnificent achievement. So let's just keep fingers crossed and hope for the best. Really, is all we can do, guys. But we have to wait and see. Right, let's move on to the player ratings. We'll get through these. We've got about 12 minutes left of the show, guys. So if we can get through these quickly tonight, Alex. We'll start off with Nick Pope. Billy?
Yeah, much better. Claiming crosses, very solid. Controlled his area. Very solid. 8 out of 10 for me.
Okay, Alex?
Yeah, that's fair. I want to give him a little bit more, but
yeah, I'm thinking an 8.5 would have been good if we had halves, but we don't. So
we don't.
He didn't do anything wrong. In fact, so I'm going to give him a 9, purely based on his. I mean, we talked about in the podcast last night. He only misplaced 2 passes the entire match, which were 2 really long balls. His saves were good. There was nothing to criticise. I didn't think. I didn't think he could have done anything for either of the goals. I thought his positioning was good enough. He was never going to save that Julian Brandt shot. I'm going to give him a 9. I know that's crazy because we conceded 2 goals. So I'm going to give him a 9. Okay.
I'm going with an 8. I agree with you, Alex. I thought he was, and he made some very, very good saves. Didn't do anything wrong. Came out, caught the ball as well, which I was impressed with. A few times he came out and caught the ball. So 8 for me. Right, Trippier, Billy.
Not one of his greatest days at the office, but we've already said fatigue, mental and physical.
Yeah.
The pressure of being one of the leaders of the group as well, I guess. Been shifted from pillar to post, didn't help him. I didn't think he looked comfortable at left back at all. 5 for me, I'm afraid, for Kieran.
Alex?
I don't feel like I can give him as low as a 5, but I'm going to give him a 6 purely based on the fact that he had to move around and be shifted around quite a lot. But yeah, a 6. I guess we needed a little bit more from him, a little bit more clinical with the set pieces and stuff. But yeah, I'll give him a 6.
I'm going with Billy. I'm giving him a 5. I thought his passing wasn't right. His set pieces were just dreadful, and I really would love to see somebody else given an opportunity on set pieces when Kieran's off. You know, sometimes Kieran is he's been brilliant on set pieces the last few weeks, but when it's not actually happening, I'd love to see somebody else get that opportunity. And you know, again, it's causing all sorts of different. You know, we're going from 3s to 7s in the chat for Trippier. But I do believe he's genuinely knackered. He's played more than anybody this season, and I just think he needs a break. He needs a good rest and come back stronger. Right, across to left back, Lewis Hall. I'm going to give Lewis Hall a 7. I thought he did reasonably well last night. He put one brilliant cross in. No, that was the last game, wasn't it?
No, it was last night.
Oh, it was last night. Of course it was, yeah. So, yeah, I thought he did really well. I genuinely believe that the yellow card was the reason he was taken off, which was a ridiculous yellow card, but a very, very promising performance. So 7 for me. Alex?
I'm going to give him a 5. I don't think he was as good as Trippier.
What?
I mean, I think he did okay, but the 5 is not a reflection on him as a player.
Good,
it's to do
good,
with
man.
That game. I thought he struggled. He shepherded his winger out a couple of times early doors, and he got the good cross. But I thought the game was a bit of a step above for him at the moment, and I think he'll be fine. But I think he struggled a little bit. But to be fair, this is what me and Billy spoke about last night. The yellow card wasn't a yellow card, and that had him treading on eggshells, which I think affected his performance, jockeying for the ball. That did affect it somewhat. So I think he might have been a little bit better had he not got that early booking. But I'm going to go with a 5.
Billy, rescue me, please.
Well, it's a 7 for me. I thought I had a very, very good first half. And the fact he got booked kind of stopped his defensive aggressiveness, if you like, because he thought, if I'm getting booked for that, if I make a missed-time tackle, I'm off.
Yeah.
However, the referee then after that decided not to give any yellow cards out.
I think he lost the yellow card. I think he put it in his pocket and obviously got slipped down the stitching somewhere and disappeared. But it was unbelievable.
I was impressed with him from an attacking front as well as a defensive one. Yeah, I thought he had a very, very impressive games for a European debut.
Okay. Right, across the other side was, of course, Tino Livramento. No, it wasn't. Shut up, Paul.
And it is worth saying that, you know, Hall didn't do too great in the lead up to the first goal either.
No, but none of the back four did they?
And about 6 players in front of him before it even got there didn't do the jobs to clear the ball. Let's be honest.
I know it's harsh, but I'm just people are saying it's harsh.
Alex,
Yes, it is harsh, but
I'm disgusted in here, quite frankly.
Alex, I think he's a great player, but he didn't win. Foxy agrees with me. Look, 5 lost majority of his duels, but he's still a great prospect.
The stats say that. The stats say that, but I mean, some of the duels he kind of jockeyed them out of it, which was different to taking the ball on, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Graham's right. It wasn't even a foul. Never mind a yellow card.
Well, that's right. They said he's had no successful crosses, but he put 1 or 2 in that were fantastic crosses. Just that Callum Wilson didn't jump for.
Yeah. I'm still disgusted, Alex. Anyway, we'll move on to the centre backs. So we'll start off with Fabian Schär. Billy?
Not as good as usual. He was kind of found wanting with the physicality of Fulkrug, I thought. He did his usual stuff pretty good. His passing and he's bringing the ball out of defence. I'll give him an 8. No, a 7. 7, 8, too high. 7.
Yeah, I'm going with a 7 as well. I thought he did. He was good. Probably not up to the usual massive standards, but 7's still a very good score in a Champions League game for me. So 7, Alex.
7, but again, it was a really strange performance from him. He was like a 10 for his passing and distribution and mental attributes, but then low for his physicality. As soon as Fulkrug moved on to Schär, he just got bullied. which, I mean, Fulkrug is a tank. He got 91% pass accuracy and 6 long balls, but then he completed 3 out of 9 duels because Fulkrug was just on him. So, we mix it all together. We get a 7. It was solid from him, but we can't expect Fabian to beat Fulkrug. He was enormous.
Jamal Lascelles, I'm giving Jamal an 8. I thought he was fabulous last night. I thought he was really good. Again, the turnaround in this guy, it just amazes me. It's just an 8. Alex?
An 8, but I feel like it's generous because I wanted to see him do more in the first goal that we conceded. However, and I mentioned this on the podcast last night, he lost his first 2 duels in the game to Fulkrug and then didn't lose any duels for the entire match after that. He basically went, "Nah, you're not beating me again." And he never lost another duel after that. It was insane. Really, really tidy on the ball. I feel like an 8's generous, but I'll give him an 8. I wish he'd done more in the goal, but it is what it is.
Okay. Billy?
Yeah, I think an 8's fair. I think Jamal is becoming, we've always said that Kieran Trippier is the captain and all but armband. Well, that's few appearances. I think Lascelles has actually took that mantle off Kieran Trippier. Led from the front, fantastic performance physically. Didn't give the ball away as much as I could see. Impressive pace, getting back to mark, putting fires out. Yeah, 8 out of 10 is good. He was at fault, partly at fault for the goal, but all the back four were at certain parts of the ball.
Yeah. Irish Toon's given him a 3. Left Tino by himself at the back for the second goal. As captain, he should have instructed someone to stay back with him. Very naive. We were a goal down.
An equaliser, mate.
But that instruction might not have come from Lascelles. That might have been from the sidelines, from Jason Tyndall. It might have been from Trippier. You can't just blame Jamal. Like, it could have been from anyone.
Trying to get an equaliser, weren't we? Simple as that.
Yeah. Right, let's move into midfield. And Bruno, Alex.
I'm going to give Bruno a 9. I thought he was absolutely magnificent in phases of the game. He was born to play Champions League football. He's just there were several players on that pitch that stood out for both sides. You got like Julian Brandt, Adeyemi, and then for us it was Livramento and Bruno. I thought he was just excellent on the ball. His passing, his use of his body. He was just skipping past people. He was absolutely immense. I thought he was brilliant.
I'm giving him a 7. I don't know. He did some good things again, but I mean, listen. If we'd won the game, probably. I don't know how you can give him a 9.
Well, why not? He's the 6. Well, he was winning the ball. He was physical. He was spraying it about. He was careful. He was driving us up the pitch. It's not his job to get it in the back of the net. He can try it if it opens for him, but. His job is to do. He did his job exceptionally well. I thought it was amazing. He was up there with the top players in that game, with like Julian Brandt and Adeyemi. He's at that level. He should be playing Champions League all the time.
Okay, Billy,
you've left me the perfect spot to go in. 8 for me.
Cop out.
It's his ability to keep the ball though under so much pressure. They definitely trying to cater for Bruno last night. They pressured him. Sometimes he had 3 men in him. Didn't matter to him. Was getting away from him with ease. Constantly kind of pushing for, prompting and pushing, and I thought he had a very good game. 8.
Paul Tully makes a good point about the only question he's got about Bruno is why doesn't he shoot more? Sometimes he's in great positions just outside the box to shoot, but instantly looks to the right hand side to clip it across the Trippier. I would like to see him hit the ball a bit more because we know if he hits it right, he's got a hell of a shot on him. I just think some of his attempts recently, it might have knocked his confidence about shooting.
But his shooting's not been great recently, and I feel like if he doesn't think he's got a clear shot on goal, he recycle retained possession. I've got no problem. I've got no problem with somebody deciding to keep the ball. I'm fine with that.
Okay. Right, we'll move on to Sean Longstaff. Billy.
Hard one to score this one. I think he ran out of steam. I think he wants too much time on the ball in European games so far. PSG game aside, didn't really get in the game much. I didn't see, and a lot of the stuff that they did came down his side. So I'm gonna give him a 6.
Yeah, 6 for me. Exactly the same reasons as well. Alex,
a 6. I feel like an extra thing that was frustrating for him. I feel like he could have scored a 7 through. Again, I'm going to go back to Maxi. It's other teammates other teammates could have got Sean a 7 because they were playing. Sean was making a lot of good runs, and people were overhitting stuff in the first half an hour to him, which he can't do a lot about that. He's got to make the runs. So he was making the right runs, and then he ran out of steam. So I'll give him a 6, but I feel like if people were playing better passes, he could have had a 7 through no fault of his own. But a 6.
Right, we'll move to Joe Linton. I'm going to give Joe an 8. It would have been a 9 had he scored that goal. But I thought, Joe was his usual self last night. I thought he was up and down the field. He was helping out defending. He was very physical. So I liked what I saw from Joe last night. So he gets an 8 from me. Alex?
Yeah, I think an 8's fair. Yeah, would have liked to have. I mean, maybe it's had more. Yeah, we'll go with the 8. Frustrating that header didn't go in, but me and Billy checked that after the game. It was only a 0.1 XG shot, so you only score 10% of those headers. So there's all of us at the time thinking he's got to score it. Well, people don't score that often from that sort of position.
Well, when I looked at that again, Alex, I thought the defender did very well. The defender, I think was it Hummels? It might have been Hummels.
I know we're not rating opposition players.
He was
Hummels.
He was incredible.
8 out of 9. 8 out of 9 duels.
Hummels was sensational.
A beast.
Yeah,
if you look, and many people have said this as a centre back, if the cross is coming in and you're not going to win the header, do your best to put the forward off, and that's exactly what he did. He was physical. Billy, Joe Linton.
Yeah, I think 8's fair.
Yeah,
you can't fault him for heart and effort. He's constantly trying to fight and win the ball for us. I mean, he didn't do it at times, but a lot of the times he does kind of influence where the ball goes without winning it himself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought of that quite good. A very good game in European Champions League for him, mate. Out of 10, absolutely. Pity he didn't score, as we all said.
Yeah. Okay, we'll move to the front 3. Joe Willock, Billy.
Hard one to score because he did look threatening, but I don't think he got in the game enough. And at times he did give the ball away. 6 for me.
Okay, Alex.
Can't disagree with that. He needs a run of games. He'll get there, but lacking a bit of physicality.
Who scored?
Hoyland.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
But I would like to see a bit more I feel like more physicality in the midfield, and we could have stayed in that a bit more. We just needed a bit more umph in this first half an hour, ideally. And Joe Willox takes his time to get up to speed in terms of his physicality. So,
well, I'm going to give him a 6 as well. I just think that game, given how I know Willock came on as a sub against Arsenal, but it was still a very physical time for him. And coming back from the injury, of course, I just think it was very, very difficult for him to get in the game as well. So a 6 is fair. Right on the other side, we had Tino Livramento, and he gets a 10 from me. I thought he was absolutely sensational last night, and I cannot wait to see this guy's career grow with Newcastle United. He just looks so confident. His driving forward, his pace, his strength. He's just got it all for me. And, for me, he's played his way into the starting lineup. I don't see how anyone can drop Tino Livramento at the moment. Alex?
Yeah, I mean, data doesn't do a massive amount for him, but it's because he played right wing, right mid, right back, left back. He played everywhere in that game. It was ridiculous. And the audacity of a man of his age to try and chip the goalkeeper at the end of a game at Dortmund away. The boy's a winner. He deserves a 10 out of 10.
And he's 2-footed as well. He's 2-footed because he saw him pass with ease.
And he
with
kept
his
it
left
with
foot.
Adeyemi. And Adeyemi is a little starlet. He's a freak of nature. Adeyemi's incredible. And Tino matched him. Like, Tino was just breathtaking. So good. 10 out of 10.
Billy?
There's an old saying that says, Jack of all trades, master of none. You've got to rejig it for him. He's master of all of them. Everywhere he played last night, he was outstanding at all of them. He was outstanding on the right wing. He dropped back into right back. Mm-hmm. Then he went to left back and looked much better there, much more comfortable than Kieran Trippier did, I've got to say. It's an obvious 10 out of 10. And every game he's played, really, has started. He's got 10 each time. That's something, isn't it?
Carl, thank you very much. He says, Paul, Billy and Alex are better than the panel on Sky Sports News on a Saturday. Thank you very much for that. Right, let's move to Callum Wilson.
Can I just last thing about Tino, because it's Tino and he's amazing.
Okay. Yeah.
The games he's done this in, by the way, the praise we're giving him for the games, and I listed this with Billy last night, right? Man City,
Mhm.
Man United, Arsenal, Dortmund.
Yeah.
He's been one of the best players on the pitch in all 4 of those fixtures
Yep.
against those teams. It's not like he's just done it for 4 games against like Palace and Bournemouth. And yeah, come at me, Palace and Bournemouth fans, don't care. But that's mental. That's insane. The level he showed in those 4 fixtures against that caliber of opposition is absurd. Like,
Yep,
I mean, it won't be. I mean, it's too soon. It's way too soon. However, I'm sure there's a long list that Southgate's got in an office somewhere, and Tino's he's not up there yet, but he's on the list. He's a bit further down, but he's got to be on there with the way he's playing.
Well,
Bloody
he
hell.
keeps playing like that for the next few months. He's got to get. He's
Been involved in the
recognition.
youth setup. I think he's still involved in the youth setup for England.
Yeah,
so
he is.
he's got to be.
21s,
There's a pathway for him. So
Absolutely.
We are stacked at right back, but you can sling him in as a left back, no danger.
Well,
That's
he can play with his left foot. I mean, look at his passing with his left foot last night. He didn't put a foot wrong. Right, Callum Wilson. It's a 4 from me. Look, obviously went off with a tight hamstring at halftime, but I don't think he did anything in that game at all. There was no closing down. There was nothing from Callum, unfortunately. But if he was injured, then that would explain why. Billy?
Yeah, complete passenger as far as I could see. Didn't offer anything. 4, yeah, 4's fair.
Alex?
I want to give him lower.
Oh.
People are going to get angry.
Yeah,
I
well,
don't know. I nearly give him a 3 myself. To be
I'm
honest.
going to give him a 3. Like,
Yep.
4 touches total.
Mm.
4 touches in the half. 2 passes. That's it. All we got from him. And he got fouled once.
Yeah, it's a passenger,
Which,
wasn't he?
again, a lot of that is not his fault. It depends on the team. And but we did start to get into the game in the final sort of 15, 20 minutes of that first half.
yeah, we did.
But Callum still only touched the ball 4 times. The only reason he gets a 3 is because I feel like, I mean, should people have got the ball to him more often, potentially? But again, we were trying to play him in the channels, which that's not really fair on Callum either.
It was ridiculous. Second half went the other way, didn't we?
So I give him a 3, but I feel like it was a combination of he was bad and everybody else was really not playing for him and helping him. We were playing silly balls for him, like into channels. What was he supposed to do? Like, so it's 3, but again, at the same time,
Well, the Purple Mags has said there that he
Not
had
his
no
fault too much.
service, and no, he didn't have any
but
service.
we can only score what he does. Like,
Yeah,
again, it's
I suppose
similar to.
I suppose they expected him to outrun Hummels, which unfortunately he didn't do. I mean, Hummels has never been quick. He's always been a slow centre half.
But of course, if that hamstring's tight, Billy, he's not going to go to 110%, which we kind of need.
He was too quick for Callum last night, for certain.
Yeah. Right. We'll do the substitutes together. There was only 2, of course, Miggy and Gordon. So Billy, Miggy,
Miley.
sorry, yes. Actually, we'll do all 3 of them. What did you think, Billy? Gordon?
All 3 at once.
All 3 at once, yeah.
Well, I felt sorry for Gordon because they then started pumping the balls into the box, crossing it, where Callum Wilson would have thrived, and not hitting the channels where Anthony Gordon would definitely thrive.
Yeah.
It was weird with the way we did it. We kind of changed our way of attacking with the wrong strikers up front. So Gordon, to me, for effort alone, gets a 7. Miggy, I thought he was quite good, actually. I thought he got himself involved. Again, he was very physical for a slight bloke, so I'll give him a 7 also. And I'll give Lewis Miley, who wasn't on very long, but it didn't look out of place. I'll give him a 6.
Alex?
Exactly the same for exactly the same reasons. We weren't utilising Gordon or getting him the ball anywhere near enough. I thought Miggy was lively, trying a few cheeky little left-footed shots, but it wasn't enough. And then Miley wasn't on long enough to score him any higher than a 6. But I thought he was really solid.
Fair enough. I'm going 6s for all 3. I thought, again, for Anthony Gordon, the reasons Billy gave, he couldn't get into the game. You know, if Gordon was there in the first half, it would have been different because we were playing that way. And then second half, suddenly we started pinging balls into the box, and we haven't got a striker in there.
A couple of those long balls for Gordon, though, were so telegraphed. The defender started running 3 weeks prior. Like, he had no chance.
Julie Jason Cundy had a pop at Miggy on Talk Sport last night. I couldn't give a shit what Jason Cundy says. He's a tosspot.
It's fine. We've still got to play Chelsea in the cup. Bring it on.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's Eddie Howe. Billy.
Look, he's playing with a stacked deck of cards against him. You know, if he's not got anywhere near the squad he wants to be going out there with.
There's nothing he can do.
I thought his in-game management was fantastic. You know, really, all he could do is, as I say, I'm a bit concerned about the way we attacked second half as opposed to the way we attacked first half. But I'm not sure that was actually his fault. I think that's just the players panicking and trying to get attacking as quickly as we could.
Yeah.
I'll give him a 9.
Okay, Alex.
I'll give him an 8, but I agree with what Billy said. I don't see what more he could do with the injury list. I think he was very brave with his first team choice, with leaving Gordon on the bench, with Livramento right wing, but it was planned very well. I thought it was really, really creative. Lots of interesting set pieces that we've not seen before. Lots of interesting passing sequences. We tested loads of stuff. It was really, you can tell that it's constantly refreshing. You know, there was a little period of time. Was it towards the back end of last season where we were all? I think you were mentioning it, Paul, where a lot of our corners and a lot of the set pieces were all the same constantly. We needed it refreshing, and I feel like this is why I love the coaching setup, because I praised it earlier. It's always evolving, trying new things. There's so many new set pieces and interesting passing lanes and not passing lanes, passing sequences. We're trying so much. So it's an 8 for how he approached that game. The substitutions, the lineup, the interesting. You know, he was creating high value opportunities for the players, but the players weren't hitting the back of the net. Like that really interesting corner that we worked. That was it with Lewis Hall with the back heel. That was really cool and creative. That nearly worked. Joelinton header. Like, he is getting these chances through practice and training, but the players have got to hit the back of the net at the end of the day. So
I'm going 7, and I'll tell you why I've dropped him a point, because I would love to see him take control one day of just saying, right, we need to change the set piece taker, put instructions out there to say, right, Kieran, it's not happening tonight. Let's put somebody else on set pieces and try something different that way. That is the only thing that I can really say about Eddie last night. I thought that, you know, he managed the game really well, but I just want to see the coaching staff make that change and say, look, it's not happening. Let's try something different with the set piece takers, because it was clear from the off last night that the trips wasn't at the races, and his set pieces the corners were terrible. The free that free kick for the second goal was dreadful. But you know what? I have to criticize that side of it. I would like to see him identify that problem and say, right, give it to Bruno or give it to Tino Livramento. Let them try a set piece. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, we should have more than one option, that's for certain.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the only reason that I'm dropping him a point. I'd like to see him change a little bit like that. And hopefully we'll see that in the future.
Well, I think there's a bigger question. What was on Joe Linton's piece of paper?
Well,
that's what
I'm really interested.
Nick Pope's strategic injury was fantastic.
Oh, that was so good. Obviously, he wasn't injured.
There was no way. There was no way he was injured in a million years, and he's done it before. Of
It's
course,
the whole
as well.
thing of, if you receive medical treatment, you have to go off the pitch, but not if you're a goalkeeper.
I mean, we shit ourselves, don't we, Paul? To be fair.
Yeah, what we did during commentary, thought, oh shit.
No,
well, that's natural because of what
straight away.
Yeah, but come on,
Straight
with
away.
what's happened with injuries the last few games, you kind of think, oh shit, get up. But then we realised that, you know,
And they all had a drinks break and they all went straight to Eddie for instructions.
The
The
fact
funny thing was, Joe Link was reading it with Eddie Howe looking over his shoulder reading it as well.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, but then when Nick Pope stood up, he wasn't even stretching his calf. So I thought, well, there's no way he's got a calf pull or anything like that. He's done it for he's done it for that. Oh dear, the Man United game's been halted. Are you watching it, Billy? Are you?
No, I'm not. No.
Well, that is something to do with what's going on in the Middle East. But we'll not get into that. Of course, it's nothing.
Someone
to do with
questioned about the Spurs highline against Chelsea, and I think it's a very good point that people are kind of saying the sun shines out of Mr. Postecoglou's backside. It was appalling management, appalling in-game management, down to 9 men with Eric Dyer in your back four to play such a high line, asking for trouble, got what they deserved.
Yeah,
How we play, mate.
Yeah, it's how we play.
Even we've got 5 men, we'll still go for it.
Put another shrimp on the fucking Barbie, mate. Anyway, that is the match review done and dusted for tonight. We are back again tomorrow night at 7:00 with yet another match preview. We go to Bournemouth on Saturday, and what the hell our team prediction is going to be, then
Be easy.
holy
We've got
hell
them players
knows.
to pick from.
So join us from 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Keep an eye out for any uploaded videos, guys. I'm going to try and keep the daily news coming because a lot of people seem to enjoy them. So a recorded video every day seems to be what people like as well as the live shows. But thank you so much for everybody that's watching. Don't forget, on Friday night, we've got Alice coming on from Alice Talks Football. You guys have wanted her on for a long time, and we're really, really looking forward to that show. So she will be coming on at 7 o'clock on Friday night as well. And then, of course, it's me and Billy again on Saturday for the watch along. It's coming thick and fast, guys. So if you have enjoyed tonight, hit the like button for us. We really would appreciate that. There's only 382 likes in there at the minute, guys. Come on, second out and hit that thumbs up for us. And of course, if you're new and you like what you see, help us on the way to 25k by hitting the subscribe button. Free to do so. And don't forget to hit the bell, which will let you know when we upload any recorded videos or we schedule our live shows in so that you never miss a thing on the Toon Review. Thank you so much for your super chats, new memberships, and of course to the mod squad. You've been awesome. Billy and Alex, thank you. But the main thanks again to you guys out there. Enjoy the rest of your evening. The rest of your evening? The rest of it. Sorry?
Who won the poll?
Yes, indeed.
That was quite
The
easy,
winner.
wasn't
The winner. With 85% of the votes is Jamal Lascelles.
Definitely not.
No, it's not. It's Livermento. Livermento got
15% of you are crazy and you hit the wrong button.
Don't listen to him. He's just on his raw meat again. Livermento 85%, Joe Linton 11%, and Jamal Lascelles 4%. So that is how the poll ended tonight. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Enjoy the rest of the evening, and we'll see you again at the same time tomorrow. Thank you very much, and good night.
I'll feel the same, pets.
Come back and check on some breathing. When I'm unturned, and you're untouchable. Tell all you got different projects. Show my struggle, make my day.